Good morning and welcome to the first part of my West Highland Way adventure. I've just walked a little way out of Milngavie and already it's beautiful, green, birds singing. I'm very excited. Everyone else is very excited. It seems as though since I arrived yesterday, all I've done is bump into people from all over the world who are walking the West Highland Way. I've met one woman who kindly took my photograph at the marker at the beginning of the walk, sorry, the poor people living here must get so fed up with people like me standing around taking photographs, talking about the West Highland Way. Yes, the lady I spoke to had lived here her whole life and she'd never walked it. So perhaps she will one day. Perhaps I've inspired her. You never know. I'm already wearing my waterproofs because we've had a smattering of rain, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm walking about 12, 13 miles today. It's a nice gentle day, under 1,000 foot of ascent, so a good way to warm in. And better than that, towards the end, I get to visit a distillery. Hopefully, all fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. Because I'm further north than where I live, I can enjoy all these bluebells, which are just coming out, it seems. There's a song about the bluebells of Scotland, and you can tell that these are native bluebells because they only have flowers down one side of the stem. I've been walking for just under an hour and a half, and I've reached what I'm tempted to call Craigallian Loch, because I'm Welsh, but I think it's pronounced Craigallian Loch. I'm going to be asking for help with my pronunciation along this walk. Not all Scottish words are pronounced like the Welsh ones, although we both have that sound, which people from some other countries find very difficult. It's been a gorgeous morning. I'm definitely taking my time and stopping to take lots of photographs and chat to people along the way. So don't be too frightened by my timings. I've seen bluebells and I've also heard my first cuckoo of the year. They're so rare now in England, where I live, but there are far more of them in Scotland, and I hope it'll stay that way. I've made the first of a number of detours I've planned on this walk so that I can get up a bit higher and look over Carberth Loch and see Drumgown and the Strathburn Hills there in the distance. They're not as big as the mountains I'm going to see around Glencoe, but they're mountains, and my heart sings really at seeing mountains and thinking that's what I'm going to be walking in over the coming days. I've just spent a lovely half hour walking with a woman from Switzerland who's come over to walk. She lived in Cambridge for a few years and wanted to come back here and walk on some Scottish mountains. So I think she's going to have a great time. But we have now parted company because we've arrived at Drumgoyne Distillery. And the young woman said she didn't like whisky. What's she doing in Scotland? I feel I have a duty to go and investigate. And I am not alone. An awful lot of people seem to be taking a detour off the official path and walking towards the distillery. People of my own heart. I need to put the whiskey to my nose and then breathe through my mouth.
When I smell our 18-year-old Glengoyne, I normally get, you know, the dessert creme brulee with the burnt sugar on top. I'll get on. Yeah, he's a problem.
Apparently.
And as you can see on the cast makeup there is no bourbon influence in the 18, it is all sherry influence. So that's why you're getting the more richer, more in-depth taste and flavour from it. You're getting all that lovely colour as well from that sherry can.
I'm sure I'll make foot willing in the end. So I've just completed a whisky tour, and these chaps are also walking the West Highland Way, or not walking it. They're drinking whisky as well.
Oh, no, we're walking.
What you're walking it? So did you understand that? Would you?
I'd say yes.
Oh, you said yes. Yes. Could you tell the difference between the different tastes?
This one felt smoother
for sure.
The 18 was significantly better than the 12.
Yeah.
Oh dear! I think perhaps over the years I've done so much damage to my system.
They tasted the same to you?
I'd have to go back and try again. I'll get a couple of bottles and I will try.
Okay.
And see if in the calmness of my own house I can tell the difference between
the two. You don't make a decision after the first or second drink.
No.
You're out of the bottles. Yeah.
But it is the best tour I've ever been on. I've been around a few distilleries and it was the best. Have you been round a Scottish distillery before?
We were on a Glenlivet tour 5 years ago.
And they're a big multinational one, aren't they?
Yeah. I think it was one of like 4 locations or something.
Yeah.
This one was north of Stirling. I don't remember. I don't know if it was like the main one or what.
Yeah. So I imagine a little one like this would have been much nicer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both good. This one's definitely cool.
Yeah, sure. I like this one.
So are you going to go home and order some whiskey?
We might.
Yeah, I probably am. We're trying to figure out how to fit it in our packs.
Yeah.
Bit of a dead weight anchor.
No. And you can't walk very far if you drink a lot. Thanks for talking to me. I'm sure I'll bump into you again over the next few days. But if you're wobbling along the way, I'll know it's the whiskey that's done it. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
For sure.
One benefit of using a baggage carrying service is that I can buy bottles of whiskey as I go along and just carry them to the end of that day's walk, and then they can go into my suitcase. Brilliant idea. Well, that was quite an experience. I really enjoyed that. I used to live in Scotland, have been through a fair few distilleries in my time, and I learned so much on that I didn't know before, and the samples of whiskey were definitely on the generous side. Reflecting, you've got to think every long distance pass has its special points, it's got its things to remember, and I remember about 9 months ago, I walked the coast to coast. And on the first day, we went down to the beach in St. Bees and we collected pebbles. And we put them in our bags and we carried our pebbles all the way across England until we got to Robin Hood's Bay. And then we threw our pebbles into the sea. And that was great fun. But for the West Highland Way, I've got this wee little bottle of whiskey and it's going to go in my bag and it's going to stay with me the whole way until I get to Port William, and then I think it might be emptied.
You can pan them.
I can pan them. I've just met, I don't know whether I can pan or not, I've just met a group of wonderful women from America who are walking the West Highland Way and they're experiencing difficulty. Is that it? Difficulty
Well, really just
with
one of us.
with gates, and the wide variety of gates
Just the one.
in America. So like you have gates in America, don't you? Do you have gates?
We do, but they're not latched in the same way.
They're not latched in the same way. They're not latched in the same way. So you've
They're
got.
more like a.
Oh, hang on, I'll get over
they're
to
more
you then.
complicated. You just draw down and lock it and open it and push it open.
And you
There's
push
just
through.
a lot more mechanics.
There's lots more mechanics.
Yeah, that's just a lot more.
I think
That's
in
right.
America we don't walk through property sometimes.
We
or
also
we
don't walk through
where
property.
there's cattle or sheep.
I think so. Yeah. So you're not used to this.
And
Oh.
the snickets in our country are like this. Like
Oh,
they're
fair
like
point.
so they're different.
Ah.
So you have like a V and that goes up upon a gate so the animals don't get out that way.
Yeah. We have something similar to that, and they're called kissing gates.
Oh, I can see why. it's
Yeah,
called.
and you have to kiss the other person
Yeah.
when you go through them. Yeah.
Oh.
So find some kissing gates. It's being a great day for walking. My waterproof came off fairly early on, and most of the day I've been walking in just a long sleeve base layer. Sometimes I've even taken that off and just been walking in a short sleeved wicker top. So great, lovely weather, and the visibility is good too. I think geologically I'm still in the lowlands, but over there in the distance you can see perhaps the big mountains that I'm walking towards. I'm definitely walking into the Highlands and they're looking gorgeous, and it's going to be fantastic getting there. I think the official line is halfway along Loch Lomond, so by this time tomorrow I'll be there well and truly in the Highlands. So after walking on a disused railway track for a good hour or so after the distillery, I'm now walking on roads. I think the last 3 miles into Drymen are probably roads, but they're very quiet roads, and the scenery is fantastic. So I've got another mile or two to go. I should get there by about 5:30, which means that I've been going very, very slowly today. But I went round the distillery, I stopped in a pub for lunch, I've been chatting to people, and I've just been enjoying being back in Scotland and getting my bearings and getting my walking legs going. So coming up for 5 o'clock and I have finally reached my hotel. I've definitely had a slow, lazy day, but it's been great fun and I've enjoyed it all. I'm ready now for a hot shower, a good meal, a comfy bed, and hopefully some more whiskey, because you've got to try it as you go along, support the local economy, and all set for tomorrow.
Mountains,